Retention. The ability to keep or hold something. Taking notes by hand can improve your memory retention. Using humor can improve your retention of new information. Children who read more tend to have better memory retention. Using flashcards can improve your retention of important facts. Identical. Similar in every detail, exactly alike. Nutritionally, infant formulas are almost identical to breast milk. The twins' fingerprints were found to be identical to each other. The genetic material of humans and chimpanzees is 98% identical. The DNA samples were found to be identical to the suspects. Reasoning. Thoughtful way of thinking something. Always back up your opinions with logical reasoning. Deductive reasoning is a valuable tool in problem solving. The math problem required the use of categorical reasoning. The foundation of a good argument is evidence and reasoning. Versatile. Having or capable of many uses. A versatile person is often good at a number of different things. Teachers have to be versatile to cope with different ability levels. He was a versatile guitarist and recorded with leading rock bands. This versatile tool has a number of different uses in the home. Cumulative. Increasing by successive additions. The evolution of human life was a gradual, cumulative process. The effects of ionizing radiation can be cumulative over time. The cumulative frequency graph depicted a steep rise in values. Some have argued that sudden change has a cumulative effect. Sedentary. Spending a lot of time sitting down. Reducing sedentary behavior can decrease the risk of obesity. Being active has a lot of benefits in contrast to being sedentary. A sedentary lifestyle can lead to feelings of depression and anxiety. The percentage of people who have a sedentary lifestyle is high. Nominal. Existing as something in name only. The store is offering a wide range of products at a nominal price. The company provides transportation services at a nominal cost. For a nominal fee, they will deliver orders to customers' homes. The professor is the nominal head of the research department. Mitigate. Make something less severe, harmful. The conservation of forests can help mitigate climate change. Wearing a seatbelt can mitigate the risk of injury in a car crash. We need to mitigate liability by being aware of our surroundings. The school implemented policies to mitigate bullying among students. Bewildered. Very confused and not thinking clearly. The intricate knitting pattern made me become bewildered. Arriving in a strange city at night, she felt alone and bewildered. The sudden change in plans caused us to become bewildered. The magician's trick left the audience bewildered and amazed. Inept. Not good at doing something. The inept construction worker caused damage to the building. The inept accountant made numerous errors in financial reports. His inept handling of a minor problem turned it into a major crisis. He was inept at public speaking, yet he managed to win the election. Impeccable. In accordance with the highest standards. The aristocratic lady was known for her impeccable manners. The restaurant was expensive, but the service was impeccable. The Englishman spoke with a posh accent and impeccable grammar. The actress was known for her impeccable well-groomed style. Adversity. A difficult or unpleasant situation. Confronting adversity requires resilience and perseverance. The team's unity helped them tackle adversity successfully. The young athlete overcame adversity to become a champion. In the face of adversity, keep climbing and never look back. Clandestine. Kept secret or done secretively. The criminals used a clandestine identity to avoid arrest. The clandestine drug trade was shut down by law enforcement. The spy conducted a clandestine operation behind enemy lines. The hackers had a clandestine attack on the computer system. Exacerbate. To make a bad situation worse. Eating too much junk food can exacerbate health problems. Not wearing warm clothes can exacerbate the cold weather. Ignoring warning signs can exacerbate a medical emergency. Overexposure to the sun can exacerbate skin damage and aging. Diligent. Careful and using a lot of effort. The student's knowledge was built up from diligent studying. The athlete was very determined and diligent in his training. The diligent decipherer spent hours analyzing the encrypted text. The journalists are diligent workers who report on current events. Fabricate. To make by art or skill and labor. She decided to fabricate something unique for her art project. The engineer was able to fabricate a prototype of his invention. I had to fabricate my thesis statement to make it more clear. The lab was able to fabricate something that looked like a real diamond. Proximity. The state of being near space or time. The climate in the lowlands is affected by proximity to the equator. The land value of this area is affected by its proximity to the beach. Armorica has a mild climate due to its proximity to the ocean. The proximity of the airport to the hotel is convenient for travelers. Teeming. Completely full, especially with living things. The river is teeming with salmons during the spawning season. Although Canada is teeming with bears, fatal attacks are rare. The waters adjacent to the island are teeming with marine life. The beach was teeming with people enjoying the sunny weather. Volatile. Likely to change suddenly and unexpectedly. Crypto is a volatile investment, but it can also yield high returns. The volatile chemicals should be handled with extreme caution. The stock market as a whole can be unpredictable and volatile. The volatile mixture of chemicals reacted violently when combined. Exorbitant. Going far beyond what is fair, reasonable. The price of a vacation to a luxury resort can be exorbitant. Nowadays, the fee for the financial advisor's services is exorbitant. The sports stadium had exorbitant prices for their VIP box seats. I couldn't believe the exorbitant prices at the fancy restaurant. Inevitable. Certain to happen and unable to be avoided. Death is inevitable, but we can choose how we live our lives. Change is inevitable, so it's important to learn how to adapt. The inevitable outcome of war is destruction and suffering. The inevitable consequence of breaking the law is punishment. Obsolete. No longer in general use or needed. The fax machine has become totally obsolete in the age of email. The incursion of new technology has made many jobs obsolete. With technological changes, traditional skills have become obsolete. The obsolete equipment was repurposed for a different industry. Proliferation. A rapid increase in the number or amount. The proliferation of technology has made it easier to stay safe. The proliferation of online shopping has changed the way we shop. The rise of social media has resulted in a proliferation of vulgarism. This system would enhance efficiency and slow product proliferation. Assimilate. Learn something so that it is fully understood. Many students struggle to assimilate the complex math concepts. The team had to assimilate the coach's strategy to win the game. I had to learn the local customs to assimilate in the small town. It takes time to assimilate to a new culture when studying abroad. Biased. Showing an unreasonable preference. The judge was accused of being biased against the defendant. The research study was flawed because of biased participants. Overgeneralized assumptions can lead to biased decision-making. The document was written in a way that was biased and unfair. Nuance. Slight difference in appearance, meaning. The nuance of the music lesson was in the harmony and melody. He added a nuance to his speech that made it more persuasive. The nuance of the melody was what made the song so memorable. The nuance of the scent was what made the perfume so unique. Scenario. Situation that could possibly happen. In a win-to-win scenario, everyone benefits from the outcome. The cartoon depicts a funny scenario with aliens visiting Earth. In any event, we must be prepared for the worst-case scenario. The scenario of a world without love or compassion is a bleak one. Undertake. To do or begin to do something. I am willing to undertake any challenge that comes my way. The team will undertake a training session before the game. We must undertake measures to reduce our carbon footprint. It's important to undertake new challenges to grow and learn. Lucrative. Producing a great deal of profit. Many people pursue careers in law because they are lucrative. The athlete's wealth came from his lucrative endorsement deals. Writing a best-selling book can be a lucrative accomplishment. Learning how to code can lead to a lucrative career in technology. Implement. Something used to achieve a purpose. The company plans to implement a new marketing strategy. The city council voted to implement a new recycling program. The gym will implement new equipment to enhance workouts. The new safety measures are practicable and easy to implement. Prevalent. Frequent or common at a particular time. The belief in fate and destiny is prevalent in many cultures. The use of smartphones is widely prevalent among young people. Cyberbullying has become prevalent in the age of social media. Illnesses can be more prevalent in certain geographic regions. Embellish. To improve or beautify by adding detail. The musician played a beautiful melody to embellish the song. The chef added some herbs to embellish the flavor of the dish. The writer used descriptive language to embellish the story. The mansion has been enlarged and embellished over the years. Penalty. A punishment imposed for breaking a law. The group is working to abolish the death penalty worldwide. The bank will charge a penalty for overdrafting your account. Many Republicans support the death penalty for certain crimes. If you don't pay your taxes on time, you might get a penalty. Apprehensive. Fearful about something that might happen. The traveler was apprehensive about visiting a new country. The thought of being alone in the dark made her apprehensive. She was deeply apprehensive that something might go wrong. I was apprehensive to confide in my fear of being ignored. Poaching. The illegal practice of hunting animals. The police arrested the man for poaching endangered animals. African elephants are threatened by habitat loss and poaching. The authority has implemented strict measures to prevent poaching. The anti-poaching efforts have helped protect endangered species. Delinquency. Criminal behavior committed by young people. Without proper guidance, many teenagers fall into delinquency. The cycle of poverty and delinquency can be difficult to break. Peer pressure can lead vulnerable individuals to fall into delinquency. The authorities are at their wits' end about juvenile delinquency. Recession. A significant decline in economic activity. The company's growth was hindered by the economic recession. The threat of a recession caused many people to lose their jobs. The housing market began to inflate before the recession hit. The economic recession impacted subsequent job opportunities. Commodity. Raw material or primary products. The commodity market is affected by changes in energy prices. The commodity market plays a crucial role in the global economy. Oil is a valuable commodity that is traded on the global market. Time is the most valuable commodity we have, so use it wisely. Bigotry. Unfairly dislikes other people or ideas. We must speak against hate speech and bigotry in all its forms. Stereotyping is a form of bigotry that can be harmful and hurtful. The campus has a zero-tolerance policy for bigotry and hate speech. The activists fought tirelessly against bigotry and discrimination. Sovereignty. Supreme power or authority of a county. The sovereignty of a country is a guarantee of its human rights. The sovereignty of a country is often challenged by other nations. The international recognition legitimizes the country's sovereignty. As a nation, we must uphold sovereignty and protect our borders. Encrypt. Information is converted into secret code. The secrets of codes were used to encrypt the top-secret message. The scientist used a code to encrypt his formula for a new medicine. To protect your personal data, always encrypt it with a strong password. You can use software to encrypt your emails and protect your privacy. Integration. Process of combining two or more things. The integration of math and science can solve complex problems. The integration of different materials can make a strong structure. If associative learning imparts, memory integration accelerates. The integration of music and dance can make a great performance. Mechanism. The system used to deal with a problem. The mechanism of a telescope helps you see faraway objects. Camouflage is a common defense mechanism in many animals. The watch mechanism is very intricate and very difficult to repair. The bones and muscles are parts of the mechanism of the body. Luminosity. Producing or reflecting bright light. The radius of the sun determines its luminosity and temperature. The evening star's luminosity made it stand out among the other stars. The artist's use of oil color creates a sense of luminosity in the artwork. The luminosity of the stars thus has nothing to do with their warming. Evolution. Any process of formation or growth. The theory of evolution was first proposed by Charles Darwin. The theory of evolution explains how species change over time. The evolution of technology has led to many different devices. The rapid evolution of technology is changing the way we live. Momentum. The force or speed of an object. In order to achieve your goals, you must maintain momentum. The contemporary environmental movement is gaining momentum. They began to lose momentum in the second half of the game. Stay focused on your priorities and keep your momentum going. Inference. Conclusion that's drawn from evidence. It is important to distinguish between a fact and an inference. The detective made an inference about the suspect's location. The lawyer made an inference about the witness's testimony. Look at the picture and make an inference about what's happening. Viable. Capable of working successfully, feasible. The engineer needs to design a viable solution to the problem. The student's argument was not viable due to lack of evidence. The company is looking for a viable way to expand its market. The team is brainstorming viable ideas for the upcoming project. Conservation. Prevention of wasteful use of a resource. The Marine Conservation Society protects ocean habitats. They were an ardent supporter of environmental conservation. The conservation of water can help prevent water pollution. Recycling is a form of conservation that helps reduce waste. Erosion. Being gradually damaged and removed. Rain and wind can cause erosion on hills and mountains. Some farmers use crop rotation to prevent soil erosion. The soil on the mountain slopes is very susceptible to erosion. Soil erosion could be slowed by changing farming methods. Coherent. Logical and well-organized, easy to understand. The movie had a coherent theme that tied everything together. The speaker's argument was not coherent and lacked evidence. The explanation of the theory was coherent and comprehensive. A coherent conclusion is important for wrapping up your essay. Compulsory. Something is obligatory, required by a law. Learning to read and write is compulsory in most countries. Following the rules of a club is compulsory to be a member. Wearing gloves is compulsory when handling dangerous things. The law requires compulsory insurance for all imported goods. Adamant. Utterly unyielding in attitude or opinion. The teacher was adamant that we follow the rules during class. The athlete was adamant about maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Despite the doctor's adamant warnings, he continued to smoke. He is so adamant in his beliefs that no one can change his mind. Endorsement. Action of support or approve of something. Many celebrities have endorsement deals with various brands. The celebrity's endorsement helped popularize the new product. Self-endorsement can help you gain confidence in your abilities. His presidential campaign won endorsements from several celebrities. Alignment. A condition of close cooperation. The team worked together to get their strategies in alignment. The company's values were not in alignment with their actions. The campus policies were in alignment with state and federal laws. Your behavior should be in alignment with your moral compass. Indispensable. Absolutely necessary, essential. A good doctor is indispensable for maintaining good health. Technology has become an indispensable part of modern life. A smartphone is indispensable for staying connected with others. A good mentor is an indispensable resource for personal growth. Breakthrough. An important discovery or development. The engineer had a breakthrough and solved a complex problem. The Human Genome Project was a major scientific breakthrough. Thinking outside the norm can lead to breakthrough discoveries. The discovery of a new species is a breakthrough for biology. Appalling. So bad or unpleasant that it shocks people. The amount of alcohol and drug abuse on campus was appalling. The amount of student debt in this country is truly appalling. The level of pollution in the river was appalling beyond belief. This particular country is notorious for its appalling prison conditions. Elaborate. Involving many carefully arranged details. The Queen's crown was so elaborate that it took hours to put on. The medieval painting depicted women wearing elaborate wimples. Elizabethan poetry often used elaborate language and metaphors. The ancient Romans were known for their elaborate public baths. Outrageous. Involving gross injury or wrong. The traffic on the highway during rush hour is outrageous. The way some people cheat on tests is outrageous and unfair. The amount of competition among college students is outrageous. The way some politicians behave is outrageous and embarrassing. Ominous. Indicates something bad is going to happen. The strange noises coming from the basement were ominous. The strange color of the sky during the storm was ominous. The ominous prediction from the fortune teller made me anxious. The abandoned warehouse was lampless, adding to its ominous vibe. Analogy. A comparison of one thing with another. The analogy between the brain and a computer is often used. An analogy can be used to simplify a complex idea or concept. The teacher aimed to summarize the lesson in a simple analogy. An analogy is like a bridge that connects two different ideas. Accusation. A charge or claim of wrongdoing. The legitimacy of the accusation was denied by the defendant. The mistaken identity of the victim led to a wrongful accusation. He rejected the accusation that he leaked confidential information. The student's academic record was tainted by a plagiarism accusation. Manipulation. To manage or influence skillfully. Censorship can be used as a tool for propaganda and manipulation. Making someone act insane can be a form of emotional manipulation. Her ingenuous nature made her vulnerable to manipulation by others. The plotters were skilled in the art of manipulation and persuasion. Privilege. Special advantage only for one group of people. They fought against privilege in order to create a fairer society. Education is not considered to be a privilege in modern society. Carelessly wasting resources is a sign of privilege and entitlement. Landowning was once a privilege reserved only for the wealthy elite. Dilemma. A problem involving a difficult choice. The final solution to the dilemma was a tough decision to make. We need to weigh the pros and cons of each option in this dilemma. When facing a dilemma, it's necessary to talk to someone honestly. The philosopher suggested a solution to the ethical dilemma. Monopoly. Complete control of something. The aggregation of companies can lead to a monopoly in the market. The monopoly of the oil industry has led to environmental concerns. The government may break up a monopoly to promote competition. The state monopoly on firearms sales aims to reduce gun violence. Assurance. Being sure or certain about something. The safety features of the car put assurance in the driver's mind. The company puts assurance upon the timely delivery of orders. The call center is implementing a new quality assurance program. The police officer put assurance upon the safety of the neighborhood. Specimen. A sample of a particular thing. The archaeologist found an ancient specimen while excavating. The scientist picked up a microscope to examine the specimen. The chemist analyzed a specimen of a new chemical compound. The museum had a rare specimen of a dinosaur bone on display. Negotiation. Discussion aimed at reaching an agreement. The tension continued to build up behind the negotiation table. The two companies are in negotiation to merge and become one. The two sides reached a compromise after intense negotiation. The two siblings used negotiation to divide their inheritance. Constraint. A limitation or restriction of something. The constraint of resources prevented us from achieving our goals. The financial constraint prevented him from pursuing higher education. The constraint of time made it challenging to study for multiple exams. The constraint of location made it difficult to find suitable housing. Vanity. The excessive belief in one's abilities. Despite her vanity, she was still a kind and generous person. The actor's vanity was evident in his constant need for attention. The model's vanity was evident in her constant need for perfection. Her vanity prevented her from accepting constructive criticism. Irony. A phrase is the opposite of what is meant. The use of dramatic irony was a clever way to reveal the truth. The writer used antonyms to create a sense of irony in his story. The Augustan poets were known for their use of irony and sarcasm. The use of irony in the movie made the ending more surprising. Nostalgia. An affectionate feeling for the past. The sensation of nostalgia made me reminisce about the past. Rereading my childhood storybooks brings a sense of nostalgia. Hearing my favorite song from high school always arouses nostalgia. I often look back on my college years with fondness and nostalgia. Legend. A story coming down from the past. The ancient legend spoke of a hidden doorway to the underworld. The legend of Atlantis has been passed down through generations. The legend of King Arthur is a famous story from medieval times. The creature in the legend was a dragon that guarded a treasure. Intrusion. Illegal act of entering, seizing of another's property. Many people condemn the intrusion of technology into our daily lives. Groundwater depletion can lead to saltwater intrusion in coastal areas. The strangest questions felt like an intrusion on my personal life. The right to privacy is essential for protecting individuals from intrusion. Ruin. To spoil or destroy something completely. This behavior can ruin your chance of promotion and your career. Negative thoughts not only will ruin your mind but also your life. The economic crisis caused many businesses to fail and face ruin. The harsh winter weather could ruin the crops and affect the harvest. Alliance. An association formed for mutual benefit. The two teams leagued together to form a stronger alliance. The environmentalists formed an alliance to protect the planet. The treaty strengthened the alliance between the two countries. The alliance between the two families was formed through marriage. Eligible. Qualified or having the necessary qualities. You must have followed the rules to be eligible for the award. The non-national workers were not eligible for certain benefits. To be eligible for a discount, you must meet certain conditions. The internship application must be taken by all eligible students. Obligation. A moral or legal requirement, duty. It is our obligation to recycle and take care of the environment. It is your obligation to be a responsible and law-abiding citizen. Responsibility is a moral obligation that we should take seriously. The police have an obligation to protect and serve the community. Indolence. Showing no real interest or effort. College is a time to develop good habits and overcome indolence. Despite his indolence, he managed to complete the project on time. Indolence is a mindset that can be changed with perseverance. Indolence can be a habit that is difficult to break, but it is worth it. Inundate. Overwhelm someone with things or people. The wildfire caused smoke to inundate across the entire region. The number of lab reports can inundate during a biology course. The number of social events can inundate your social life. The heavy rainfall caused the river to inundate across the town. Debunk. Expose the falseness or hollowness of an idea. It's important to debunk false information so we don't spread it. We need to debunk the idea that boys are better at math than girls. The historian examined objective evidence to debunk popular myths. The doctor was able to debunk the myth that vaccines cause autism. Enigma. A person or thing that is mysterious to understand. The enigma was too complex for the average person to understand. The enigma of dark matter continues to perplex astrophysicists. The enigma of the Bermuda Triangle has led to many myths and legends. The enigma of the Voynich manuscript remains unsolved to this day. Eradicate. Destroy it completely, put an end to it. The community is coming together to eradicate drug addiction. The organization's goal is to eradicate child labor worldwide. The school is implementing new policies to eradicate bullying. We must strive to eradicate inequality in access to healthcare. Accountability. The fact of being responsible for. Accountability is a fundamental principle of good governance. When we take accountability, we show that we are trustworthy. A lack of accountability can undermine the success of a team. Accountability helps us build strong relationships with others. Decorum. Behavior that is controlled, calm, and polite. It's important to show decorum when you're meeting new people. The decorum of the funeral was disrupted by the loud mourner. It's important to show decorum when we are at a political rally. The decorum of the museum was maintained by the security guard. Reasonable. Having sound judgment, fair and sensible. The amount of time spent on hobbies should be reasonable. The workload for this course is reasonable and manageable. The price of the hotel room was reasonable for the location. It is not reasonable to blame others for your own mistakes. Pragmatic. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically. A pragmatic solution is one that is based on evidence and facts. Being pragmatic means finding the most efficient way to do things. It's pragmatic to be optimistic and see the bright side of life. The company's problem-solving method is both pragmatic and efficient. Hazard. Dangerous and likely to cause damage. My father said that the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. A new report suggests that chewing gum may be a health hazard. We all know that dried weeds present a serious fire hazard. Using a sharp knife without proper training is a great hazard. Extravagant. Using or spending too much of something. She was ostentatious about her extravagant vacation plans. The affluent couple hosted extravagant parties and events. Being extravagant with promises can create false expectations. Be extravagant with kindness and let it be your superpower. Deploy. To arrange in a position of readiness. The company will deploy a new team to handle customer queries. The airline will deploy more flights during the holiday season. The military is set to deploy satellites for surveillance purposes. Make sure you have the necessary resources before you deploy. Gullible. Naive and easily deceived or cheated. It's important to not be gullible to fake news on social media. Being gullible to get-rich-quick schemes can lead to financial loss. Being gullible to conspiracy theories can lead to irrational beliefs. There is a thin line between being open-minded and being gullible. Abrupt. Exceedingly sudden and unexpected. The abrupt change in his opinion on the matter confused everyone. The ending of the meeting was abrupt, leaving many unresolved issues. The politician's decision to resign from office was shockingly abrupt. The book was well written, although the ending was a bit abrupt. Censure. A condemning as wrong, strong disapproval. The company faced censure for violating environmental regulations. The athlete received a censure for breaking the rules of the game. The musician faced censure for using offensive lyrics in their song. The artist faced censure from the public for his controversial exhibit. Destructive. Causing great and irreparable damage. The forest fire was devastatingly destructive to the wildlife. The storm caused colossally destructive damage to the town. The so-called peaceful protest turned violent and destructive. The forces of nature can be both beautiful and destructive. Eloquent. Fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing. President Abraham Lincoln was known for his eloquent speeches. The writer's words were so eloquent, they sounded like poetry. The professor's eloquent expression made the lecture captivating. Despite his lack of formal education, his expression was eloquent. Inferior. Lower in rank, status, or quality. Females are not inferior to males, they are equal in every way. The parking lot was poorly maintained and of inferior quality. The inferior skills of the employees led to their termination. The quality of the product was inferior to what was advertised. Lenient. Not as strict or severe as expected. The library was lenient toward students who returned books late. The landlord was lenient through the tenant's financial struggles. The victim's family spoke out strongly against the lenient sentence. The supervisor was lenient on behalf of the workers' personal issues. Meticulous. Very careful and with great attention. The doctor's preparation for surgery was meticulous and precise. The Athenians were known for their meticulous attention to detail. The scientist's approach to conducting experiments was meticulous. The book is a product of extensive research and meticulous writing. Resilient. Emotional strength to cope with adversity. Being resilient can benefit from overcoming great challenges. Self-determination helps people to become more resilient. Aspire to be resilient and never give up on your goals. Open-mindedness can help you become a more resilient person. Vigorous. Having or showing great vitality and force. The runner maintained a vigorous pace throughout the marathon. The boxer delivered a series of vigorous punches to his opponent. The politician delivered a vigorous speech to rally his supporters. The student engaged in vigorous debate during the class discussion. vague, uncertain, or unclear character or meaning. She had a vague notion of what she wanted to do with her life. It was hard to discern the meaning behind his vague statement. The email was vague, and there was confusion about the deadline. The instructions were vague, so we had to use our best judgment. Exaggerate. Described as more impressive than it really. Sometimes people exaggerate to make themselves sound better. The comedian tends to exaggerate his stories to make them funnier. It's important to not exaggerate when making a promise to someone. The advertisement tends to exaggerate the benefits of the product. Deteriorate. To make inferior in quality or value. Neglect against your relationships can cause them to deteriorate. Unless you address your malnourishment, your health may deteriorate. Your reputation can deteriorate from spreading rumors and gossip. Your finances can deteriorate from overspending and not budgeting. Consensus. Generally accepted opinion, wide agreement. There is a growing consensus that the current regime has failed. The board of directors reached a consensus on the new policy. The consensus among the experts was that the plan was flawed. The tribal government was based on consensus and cooperation. Indulge. Someone have or do whatever they want. Take a comfortable break and indulge in your favorite hobby. Afternoon tea is a wonderful way to indulge in sweet treats. It's important to not indulge in negative thoughts or emotions. It's important to not indulge in gossip or spreading rumors. Stringent. Very strict, and that must be obeyed. The eligibility requirements for the loan are quite stringent. The bureaucratic regulations for aviation safety can be stringent. The legal regulations for online privacy are becoming more stringent. Many patent applications are rejected for highly stringent criteria. Rational. Based on clear thought and reason. Don't let your emotions interfere with making rational decisions. I don't want to talk insane, I want to have a rational conversation. This new lesson plan was designed to encourage rational thinking. The assumption of the theory is that humans are rational beings. Miserable. Unhappy living conditions. I refuse to be miserable about the past, I'm focusing on the future. Between the rain and the wind, it was a miserable day to be outside. It's not worth being miserable about something you can't change. Don't be miserable about the small setbacks, keep pushing forward. Spontaneous. Coming from a natural impulse or tendency. The break in the routine allowed for a spontaneous adventure. The two best friends eloped to Europe for a spontaneous adventure. If associative learning ignites, spontaneous inferences develop. There is a balance between being spontaneous and being responsible.